got a really good topic for y'all today. We're gonna talk about creating balance in your personal life, the difference between fun and discipline. What do you do what you do for fun, and are those habits that you're doing for fun? Is that genuinely for fun, or are you trying to escape something else? All right, let's get into it. I can go a really, really long time being very structured, very disciplined, not going outside of that realm. But at times I find myself like, okay, like maybe I can get out and socialize a little bit. I can do this and that, especially like when I'm scrolling and I see my friends out doing stuff. I notice that my friends, even at this point, a lot of times don't invite me to things because they know that I'm not likely to go. And, I can't even be mad at that because that's just not who I am. But I used to be a very big party person. I used to, when I was in college, I was working at Cedar Point, always throwing parties and stuff like that. I just chose to take a step back from it because it wasn't aligning with my overall career goals. And I got lost in the sauce in a way with my discipline though. Like, it was no bueno for a year, a little over a year, no fun. We getting down to business, which is great because it helped me create a lot of really good habits that have changed my life in ways that I can't explain. But also I know that I can have balance because it's not that I was partying so much or having so much fun that I couldn't also have discipline. I just was kind of choosing one or the other, kind of like these extremes, right? So the point of me talking about creating balance is to acknowledge, like, hey, you can enjoy yourself and have a good time without allowing it to consume you or be just the main goal in life. I find that a lot of times when people drink and they go out and they party, there's always a reason to want to celebrate something. And other times people just like to drink. I think that the balance specifically is like how often it's happening and what you're doing it for. Is it something that you're doing socially because you have a rhyme or reason, or is it just I'm bored and I don't know how to utilize my time in any other way, so I'm gonna do this instead? Especially during the summertime, because summertime is like everybody outside, sun's out, I'm out. Even for me, I live a very structured and disciplined lifestyle, which I love, but that doesn't mean that I can't have fun or I shouldn't feel guilty for having fun. I enjoyed myself. It was the 4th of July weekend. I had some friends that were coming down from Lansing, and I stay, Metro Detroit area, so they're coming out. Sunday I had a gathering at my place, just welcoming in the new space, and it felt good. I had a really good time socializing with my friends, just overall enjoying myself. And afterwards I kind of felt guilty about it because I'm like, well, and I had to sit back and be like, wait a minute, these things that I did, I enjoyed myself while doing it. Nothing bad happened. I don't define myself as somebody that engages in those activities all the time. And I knew that I was intentional behind each activity that I did. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't just going out because I was bored or didn't have anything to do. I wasn't drinking because I'm trying to distract myself or some other thought or anything like that. Like, it was genuine, genuine fun that was being had. So that was something that I found very interesting about my discipline habits that I had created. Had kind of like made me feel guilty in a way for wanting to have fun until I reevaluated. And I was like, hey, like, is anything wrong right now? I wanted to talk about a few different questions from the discipline point of view of like wanting to have fun or put yourself out there more after being so locked in for so long. Have I achieved my goals recently? My goal was getting my apartment, buying groceries, getting an office desk, getting an office chair, right? Kind of setting up my space to feel more like home. And I have achieved those goals, right? So I felt that I could then celebrate those goals that I had achieved because I had worked so hard to do so, right? So before, when I used to party and stuff like that, yeah, it started off as just me having a good time when I was in college, drinking to have fun and hang out with my friends. I was smoking because we were enjoying ourselves. But then it became like, I need to be outside. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to go to every party that somebody invites me to. I need to start throwing parties because I did it, and I want to keep up that image of like who I was at the time. And so it kind of consumed me in that way to the point where I wasn't focused on my mind, my body, and all these other things. Like, I was going to the gym still because that's just always an interest that I had. And, I was drawing, but I wasn't focusing on my schoolwork. I wasn't really focused on getting a job and like just figuring out who I was or what I wanted out of life, because I was so focused on enjoying myself. And then when I got into my toxic relationship, I used drinking as a coping mechanism because I was sad or I was angry. So I would drink because, well, at least when we drink, that's a way that we can get along or do something. Or when we drink, I won't have to think about this or that a lot more than I would when I was sober. So I started to use it as a coping mechanism. And that's why I had to pull myself out of that. And I was like, this isn't beneficial for me, and I'm not getting any good results from these things. And overall, like I said, it didn't promote the lifestyle that I tend to live. And honestly, that kind of brings me to my next question, is like, what does fun look like to you? To me, fun looks like, for my lifestyle, for my ideal future self, current self going into future self, fun looks like I'm on a boat, I'm traveling, I have, a nice little fit on, I look clean, I look good, I feel amazing, I'm around some genuine people, I'm around people that can teach me something, that are better than me, or that are in the same levels as me, or whatever. And I'm experiencing life. I'm doing things that I haven't done before. I'm, like I said, on a boat, or, skydiving or something like that. Like, that to me is fun. Not every day super convenient to go out and do. Like, anybody can go out to a bar, anybody can gather a few people at the crib and drink and smoke and whatever. No, I want to be in the Amazon rainforest trying ayahuasca or something. You know what I mean? Like, that is a genuine experience that I can, that creates a core memory that'll last forever. So when I think about fun, I think about stuff like that. Or even more creatively, like creating something, building something. It's taking whatever in here, putting it out there, or taking things that I see on social media that other people are doing that seems so unrealistic, and doing it because I know I can do it, right? So that's another thing that was making me feel guilty, when I was like, okay, when I think about celebrating isn't engaging in the things that are typical, right? But like I said, still, I don't have to feel bad for doing those things, because there's nothing wrong with doing that as well. What does fun look like to you? And that'll make it a little bit easier when you're balancing that discipline and fun ratio. And if you can make those fun things, that what fun looks like to you, if you can make that happen, or figure out a plan to make those happen, especially if it's something a little bit more extreme or that might be more costly, whatever, you can be disciplined and then be like, okay, if I can commit to 2 weeks consistently in the gym, then I'll take a trip to New York, or whatever like that. That might feel, Another great question that came up while I was talking was, what are you doing it for? Like I said, when I used to drink and party and smoke before, that was for validation and to cope with trauma that I was dealing with. Whereas now, if I drink, it'll just be like, we're socializing, we're having a good time, let me just take a little shot. And like I said, I drink wine, if anything, but mostly still upholding that image of being a clean individual. So trying to balance that. Still feel a little bit of guilt about that, to be honest, just because I know that I don't need to drink to have fun. Sober me is honestly probably more fun than the drunk me, to be honest with it. So this is a question for you guys, because that looks different for everybody else. So what are you doing it for? Are you drinking to have a good time? Are you smoking to escape reality? Are you trying to get out of your head about something? Are you trying to feel less anxious? Or are you genuinely just enjoying yourself and catching a vibe? Hey man, it's some questions you need to ask yourself.